another one of our alliance members. These were all anonymous, but I do actually think this is the person that I debated with about media, if I know her well enough. But she says, as a lifelong conservative, I was extremely disturbed by the incivility and polarization following the 26th election. I looked for a way that I could help bridge the chasm. Two more, just as we're kind of wrapping up. I like the idea of keeping the conversation going. It's a solution to help us from killing each other. And when I read that, I sort of chuckled a little bit. And yet, if we go all the way back to the seriousness of the polarization of our country, the divisiveness, some think we're not that far away from this. And I liked this one too. I needed something to do about the fear and anger I was feeling internally. I needed a source of hope. So I know that's cheesy. It's like all these kumbaya moments with the film and this, but I feel that way too, that really this is a source of hope for me. So let's talk just a little bit about some upcoming programming that we do have, ways that you could sign up and participate. So we have two different events. One that is still open for registration, which is a debate that we're doing on February 22nd. Now, Liz just put the event link so you can register, and that is free. You can just sign up and register for it. This is specifically being done within our state. So there's an alliance on the west side, there's an alliance on our side, and we're coming together to host a debate around the new use of force laws in Washington. So you can see our resolution. The recently passed police use of force laws have made us less safe. One thing that's really, I want to just make sure we emphasize is that it's not a true debate. It's not like when I was on the high school debate team. It's not about winning. It's not even about listening to retort. The way that it works is that someone in the affirmative, for example, might get started. They give a 3 or 4 minute speech. Then there are a couple of minutes of questions, and people who have questions don't even address them to the speaker. They address them to the chair. And then it will go the opposite. Okay, somebody who's not an affirmative, someone who's against this. And it toggles back and forth. And like Liz said, Liz was actually at a debate that I was at last weekend, learning how to do the what we call a whip, just like a normal debate. These have whips too. And I was learning how to be a whip. And I always go into the debates thinking, well, obviously there's one right answer to this question. And then I listen and I go, I'll be darned, I never thought of it that way. Or, I still disagree, but now I understand how you got there. And that's been just fascinating. I mean, I am so excited. I just signed up to be part of the national debate team. I don't know when. I think I'm going to squeeze one more thing in, but that's how excited I am about the debates. So we also have an event called Walk a Mile in Our Shoes. And Liz,
no. Walk a mile.
I'm sorry, Walk a Mile in Our News. I'm sorry, you're right. But can you just talk a little bit about it, even though I don't know that we're accepting more registrations? So
the concept is to pair people up, one red, one blue, to meet as a pair 4 or 5 times over a couple of weeks, pick a topic that they're both interested in, and look at, well, what am I reading or what am I listening to about this? And then the other person reads those things and kind of deconstruct together. What's the basis for the different slant that we're each getting, and try to come together to a better understanding of how to be a more critical consumer of the media that people are continuing to consume on their own. The reason that I'm not going to put a link to register in the chat is that we already have way more blues registered than reds. So we're hoping to get more reds. And if anyone thinks that they know someone a red who might like to do this, by all means, text me their email or something like that, chat me their email. But we do hope to put this on again other times in the future. Someone from the Sacramento Alliance had this concept and developed the workshop about a year ago in the first place. And so many other places are taking off on it now. And it's another example of just that this organization just continues to grow and uses ideas and energy from so many volunteers. That's exciting. I also, because I'm almost done with what I'm supposed to say, one of my favorite slogans about like how Braver Angels defines itself that hasn't been shared yet is, we aren't seeking to change minds, we're seeking to change hearts. And I love that.
Right, so that actually concludes our presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen to open it up to questions. These might be questions that you have just in general about Braver Angels. But I know when we met with some other folks that are part of League in terms of leading up to this session, one of the things that we talked about was, are there opportunities for collaboration? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and now we'll just open it up.
Do we have to raise our hand or can I just talk?
Go for it, Tish. No, this isn't, I'm also involved in the
Okay.
discussions with Catherine, like so many of us are. So we don't have 80 people on this call, so just go.
Okay. So I just always wonder if the people that are participating in these are more, whether they're red or blue, more toward the center, if you have folks on the red and blue sides that are more toward the two kind of extremes, or if they're more, yeah, more in the center of those groups. I just wondered.
I can speak to that a little bit. Yes, it's self-selected for people who don't think all this polarization is a good thing for society.
Right.
But on the other hand, being a co-chair for this Walk a Mile event, we ask the registrants to place themselves on a 1 to 10 scale, just so that we have some more input when we're matching them. And there are people on both sides who are at the far extremes that are registering.
Okay, how interesting. That's helpful.
Yeah, right. And I think part of that is that like the political polarization is not the same as affective polarization. So these may be people who are far left or far right politically, but are already starting to see those other folks without demonizing them.
Sorry, could you just explain that a little bit more, those differences? Sorry.
So political polarization is about policies and political agendas. You know, are you a progressive? Are you a conservative in terms of what laws you think should be passed, what policies should be done? Affective polarization is, how do you feel emotionally about those folks on the other side?
Got it.
Anything you want to add, Emily?
No, I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Well, maybe just one more thing. Within our alliance, I would say that we do have some, like I know at least one of our co-chairs is very soundly a red. She's very open about it. She's red. She's been a red for a long time.
She voted for Trump.
What was that?
She voted for Trump. And actually she was, when I did that skills for, or depolarizing within, which was my first workshop, she was in my breakout small group. And the exercises that we were doing wouldn't have like gone to places like who did you vote for, but she and I connected well, and she was already in this alliance, and you know, had to do partly with my joining the alliance. And then like there's an opportunity to exchange emails when you're in the breakouts, like in case you want to pursue things further, and we did that. And in the couple of days afterward, sharing more about ourselves, I learned that she voted for Trump, and it was like just a really good object lesson for me about that disconnect. Like I had to go through mentally wait, she's such a nice person, how could that be possible? And then get on past that. So that's an interesting journey.
Yeah, I was going to say, I find her delightful, but yes, if we had started with, I did not vote for Trump. I did not wear blue purposely, by the way, today. It just sort of happened now that I'm looking at it's more of a teal color.
Yeah, I go with teal. I'm not saying you're going, you're wearing blue.
I'm more of a teal color. But I would also say that one of the things that I've appreciated most about Braver Angels is we also have some really solid independents who are part of our alliance. And so I'm hearing from them, like we just had one present about why he's an independent, and frankly, why you should be one too. And then we did questions of curiosity with Mike. So I've enjoyed getting to meet that group as well, and learning more about why they are solidly in a different, they either refuse to group, or here's why I recognize I'm purple, and that's why I'm more of an independent.